Hello.
Hello. I hear.
Oi. Hey, hallelujah.
Oh, cool.
Hey,
Awesome. That'll
can
work.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, nice. Finally.
Okay, that works. Now I can just close
Okay,
Zoom.
okay. It's done.
Alrighty. I can just close all that. It was taking forever to update anyway. Um. All right. We finally got it going. Yeah. So, how have your games been going?
Uh, Not good actually. I don't know why. Like for a month to now, since a month to now, I started getting way too aggressive while playing, and I don't know why. You revealed me twice, and you appointed that I was attacking with weak groups and
Mhm.
that I wasn't putting defense before attacking.
Okay. Um.
So I decided to change. Like I decided to stop playing OGS. I went to Fox, and it was worse. They just know how to attack. It's
Yeah.
crazy. They are full attacking. So I am trying to rank up on Fox until I can play some players of my level, but I've lost already 2 times or 3 times against some players that were better than me at attacking.
Yeah, like if you want to learn how to attack, you go to Fox. But if you're trying to learn how to defend and just play normal, then I don't know if Fox is the right idea.
While you were streaming, I did this game today. Wait, if I can, I'll give it to you now. Where is it? Okay, it's here. I made this game pretty solid. However, I lost by the Komi. Pretty solid. I tried to not to defend first and then attacking. I made a mistake, 2 mistakes actually. I tried to kill a group that was unkillable, or made the mistake doing it, and
Mm-hmm.
it cost me a little territory. And I attacked the group, but I
Review
could have
started.
one more. So I took like 2 stones, and I could have taken like six.
Well, what concerns me is you're talking about how you can attack better, but the last two times I said you need to work on defense.
Hi, yeah.
So why would we look at how to attack better if it's going to just be defense again?
I don't have games in where I need to about defense. Okay, we can do a class about defense if you have like some tips.
Um, well, I was wondering, are you what is your focus when you're trying to play? Are you trying to just improve your attacking, or are you trying to work on your defense and then improve attacking later? Like when
While
you
I play, I just try to win. I don't care how it is as the game goes. I would see, okay, after the Joseki, I see if I have to defend, if I have to attack, where I can gain territory, where is his weakness.
hmm,
But I only think that when the Fuzeki stops.
yeah, so that can actually hold you back a little bit because every time you're learning a new tactic, you have to kind of double down and just focus on that tactic and then try to balance everything else while you're learning that tactic. If you don't actually put your focus on doing that thing, then it's very easy to forget to do that thing, and then you don't really learn it or apply it. If that makes sense. So if I say you need to improve defense, but you don't put the focus on defense, then it's very easy to just keep the same defense because you're not. If you don't put the focus on it, then how do you double down and just do the extra go the extra mile to do it if that's the mistake. So like this one's a good example is you have a floating group. A very simple defense is just make a base, and we could double down on that. So it's more about it's okay to focus on a certain tactic if that's the tactic you're working on and putting effort and improving on, rather than only focusing on it when it comes up. You can actually look for it, look for chances to do it better. And that could just be where your attention goes. And when you review your games, if there's a certain area of your game that you've been messing up more often than others, then you should more specifically look and see how you handled that tactic or idea when you review. So rather than just saying that like, okay, I need to improve a defense, but then you go play and you keep attacking, maybe it's better to just take a step back and just, focus on just that defense and make sure you defend, even if you lose or play a little bit slow. You get that defense down, and then once you get it down, then you can add attacking back on again, if that makes sense.
Is there any way of practicing defense without playing, like uh, puzzles, Mega Go, something like?
No, because Go problems are about how to make life after you're surrounded. Defense is about not getting surrounded, right? And yeah, if you get surrounded, you need life and death. But defense is like make your base, or if you don't have a base, then run away. And that's pretty much the basics of defense on the 19x19. So if you want, we can review this game and look at chances that you could have played defense. We could also
Yes.
do Shadow Go, where you play ranked game and I just coach you through it. Um, Either of those things are also fine. But already I'm noticing that you have a floating group in the top left and it doesn't have a base.
Yes.
So my first instinct would be like, make a base. Like surround him and make a base. Like get to the third line and make a base. If you can't make a base, then run away. Or maybe you play this and, just run away. Just get out. But ignoring the weak group.
What I notice is that when people are trying to surround me,
Mm-hmm.
mostly of the times I don't notice it. I just notice like in the last minute at the last time. We'll see an example in this game, but it's like I'm trying to do something. I think about something. I'm trying to do it. He's thinking about something. He's trying to do it, and we both ignore each other's moves, and I end up surrounded. It's crazy.
So that's one thing you don't want to do is not take into account what your opponent's doing. But more specifically, to answer your question, is you need to know if the groups on the board have a base or do not have a base. This is the kind of the fundamentals of attack and defense. So, for example, A, B, C, D, E, and F. Right? Which stones have a base, which stones don't? Okay, you
A
need.
as a base, D as a base, no
Mhm.
more.
Yeah, F doesn't have a base, and B probably doesn't have a base yet, because one stone can't have a base. But you need a base when your opponent's stones are near you. So F needs a base, but B doesn't, because B doesn't have anything near him, but F has white stones on both sides. So F is a baseless group near the opposite color stones. So F is a floating group, or a weak group, or weakness. So we have to train our eyes to see groups without a base, and that's how we know when something is weak or strong. Is we say, does it have a base? Does it have ice base? Does it have escape routes? And we have to notice these things. So this is kind of our fundamentals of attack and defense: is do I have a base? Okay. This move is actually not the big move. The bottom side is the wide side, so you could play here. Shimari is also just as big as a wide side, so you could play here. So those are your big moves. But defense first. Defense first. Make your base.
Okay.
So he touch, you block, good, you blocked your base. Now he goes in. So he's inside your area. Okay, so you want to surround, you want to take the base and surround. Okay, so and you surround, perfect. And you see how he kind of is making life. This is still good for you, but a little bit easier would just be to connect, or maybe go down. Simply because you don't want him to expand his eye space on the second line. So you kind of connect your cutting point. So you Hane, and then you want to think about fixing, because, weakness first. And then let's say he runs away. Now you can double Hane. Maybe he runs away this way. You can cap. And you just do whatever you want to do, because you're strong. He can't come under. So this is kind of your base. So he can't come under you.
Yes.
He can't expand his eye space. If he does, you just block and then surround with something. Just block and
I
surround.
don't like when they face to the center, so I usually try to stop them.
Yeah,
like create a wall.
you want to surround and create thickness. That's good, but stop the base first. Because
Okay.
when you surround it this way, you see how he just crawls on the second
Yeah.
line? And
Yes.
then he ends
Yes.
up even escaping. You're supposed to
He
keep
did
noting it.
that like all game. It was like I had massive influence all game
Yeah.
because he just ran to the corner
Yeah, so
to the wall.
this is kind of okay, but it could be better if you also had some side to go with it. You usually don't want the center without a side, because side is bigger than
Okay.
center. So you usually build the side up to the center. You don't usually get the center by giving up the side. But surrounding your opponent is good, so it's not like this is terrible. This is still pretty good. But you let him make some eye space, and you could have prevented that early on. But okay, you fix your cutting point, whatever. This one technically doesn't need to be fixed. You could just jump or Tuniki or whatever. But you did let him break out, so letting him break out is not surrounding. So this is the wrong move to surround. So a little bit of an attacking problem, but it's still not the end of the world, right? You got some wall, whatever. But now he's not surrounded, and he's pretty much alive. So now the attack's over. So now it's time to play to go through the questions. Do you have any weakness? Yes, A doesn't have a base, and now B doesn't have a base. And now it's important because white stones are near it, so B needs a base. So the next move should actually be here to make your base. Fourth line, like a knight's move from the star point, is really nice to make your base. So you make your base, and then maybe he makes Shamari. It's like, okay. Then you make your base, and then maybe he plays one more big move, and you're like, okay, all my groups are fine. All his groups are fine. So now open corners, no. Open sides, no. So largest framework, bottom left. So let's just go deal with it. So I can shoulder hit to reduce. I can cap. I can invade. I can attach to invade. And I can do all this extra stuff because I have no problems. I can just go deal with the big stuff. But that's only because I have bases. So here you go here. I mean, this is a big move, but you still have groups that don't have a base. So for example, what if I attack you here?
Let's run to the center.
Yep, you run to the center, and then I use that to support to attack your stone here. Or maybe I attack you here. Okay, you run to the center or something, and then I go here, and I make some sort of combination.
Yes,
and then
yes, you build the bottom side.
Yeah, so just because the weaknesses are worth fixing because when you get stronger, your opponents are going to learn how to do things by utilizing those weaknesses to do it in Sente. So that's how you attack. But right now we're focusing on how to play defense. So this is all Joseki, and it's fine. It's whatever. You actually clamp here for this Joseki. This is Joseki. Whatever. We run away. Stay connected when we run away. This shape's a little complex, so it's not normal. Okay. So now you escape to the center, and he made a base on the side. Fine, whatever. Right? A is now fine.
I was kind of worried. At this time, I was kind of worried. I have no base. I have no territory except like top corner, top right, and I have 2 walls facing the center. But he also has the upside going to the center, and he has those 2 stones on the 7th line that can also go to the center. So I was kind of, oh my god, what do I do now?
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's also not the end of the world. So we just think again, okay, do I have any groups without a base? Yes, okay. And then he's like, well, maybe he's getting a massive center. I'm going to go destroy it. I'm like, whatever. Okay, so now, open corners, no. Open sides, no. Any groups without a base, no. So now we go to big move. Okay, so I have a lot of influence, or a lot of center, so how can I utilize that? Well, there's different ways to utilize it. You can utilize it to attack weakness. You can utilize it to build something. You can utilize it to invade something. In this case, I don't know, just build something. Just play a shoulder hit or a capping move and build influence. I mean, that could be an easy way to do it. Shoulder hit, and then build influence. And then that would be a simple way. But once you get those bases, you can just focus on just doing that. But here, you're going to build. Okay. And here he actually played a 2-space jump that's already pre-peeped. So you can immediately cut this. Immediate cut. He has to make a base. Then you make a base while attacking the 2-space, because remember, a 2-space jump, when you have a stone on both... Yeah, it's only one eye. So when there's a stone on both sides, you have to run away. So 3 is a good way to kind of make some base while attacking him. So he plays, and then you just surround once. Okay, he lives. You poke his eye space, and then, okay, now the attack's over. He's alive. So big move. Any groups without a base? No. So big move, influence. So make your influence. Right? It's, just don't lose Sente when you attack, and then make influence. But it all comes down to those bases. I noticed that he wasn't having a base or whatever. Or maybe I go here and I'm like force you to connect back, and then I maybe surround. And I can do 1 in Sente because 1 takes your base on the right. So if you try to do something else, then I'll take your base on the left and the right, and you have no base, and you're floating inside of a giant black Moyo. And that's not good. That's good for us, right?
What
so
if he plays like N3?
in 3, then I just stay strong, keep him cut. Now he has 2 groups without a base. Okay. So he tries to run, like, okay, defense first, I make my base. Whatever. Heck, I can even just slide down here. I don't care. So yeah, maybe he tries to counterattack or whatever. So okay, defense first, defense first. Make my base. Like, oh, he connects. Okay, then I'll go back and attack this one. Okay, or maybe I unsettle or play defense first because I have 2 stones. Maybe I'll just do this. Defense first, run away. Defense first, run away. Defense first, counterattack and run away. But defense first. Like, okay, maybe he makes a base and I connect. Now he goes reduce. Okay, but now I have no weak groups. Now I can do whatever I want. So I can build a Moyo. Again, once I have no weaknesses, then I can do the Moyo. But weaknesses first. It's no matter what he does, you just stay strong and make your bases. Keep them cut, make your bases, and it'll work out. So yeah, the shape to take advantage of the 2 space is to go the opposite side and then jump back. So it has that like 1 space, 1 space. Kind of 1 space, 1 space. That's the proper order. Because now we can just make a tiger's mouth and come up. Okay, so you're playing big move again, and he goes in. So you still need a base, but I guess you're treating Q4 as light. So whatever, we'll treat Q4 as light. Does he have a base? No, he doesn't have a base. Okay, so step 2, surround, capping move, surround, surround, nice move, surround, cutting point, or heck, just let him connect. I don't care. Surround, yes, surround, and then once we have thickness, we can go do whatever we want again. Okay, so you do that. Okay. Okay. He didn't connect. Cut. Cutting points. Cut him off.
Okay.
You surround. Tiger's mouth. And you don't really care if he connects. Just keep surrounding. Just keep surrounding. This one is kind of changing directions, so it doesn't really quite make sense. But it's all about surrounding groups without a base. Or don't let yourself get surrounded when you don't have a base. It's all about the base. Bases is how you understand if something's weak or strong. Okay? Blah, blah, blah. So you keep changing direction again. You're just trying to surround. You're just trying to surround. Let them connect. Who cares? You have...
I'm not trying to kill it until I see, I have no chance. I have to let him live.
Yeah, you should never try to kill.
Right.
And once he's surrounded, then you can start thinking life and death. But if he has escape routes... Life and death should be the last thing on your mind. Yeah, trying to kill something when it has escape routes is really, really, really hard.
But because it's ridiculous, it just put a stone right in the middle of my... exactly, like right in the middle. He has no stones near.
Yeah, but...
The closest stone is J3 and the key 7.
Yeah, but it's the line of influence... And this entire area is open, so he has all kinds of runaway paths. So it's like impossible to kill something in there. But the point isn't to kill. The point is to gain profit. That's what thickness is used for. You're not trying to kill stuff with it, you're trying to profit. So when he does something like this, just surround and let him live. And you will have more points. Because he can't make points with this. You control the area. So as long as you make some points in Sente for free, it's a positive exchange rate. So it's not that big of a deal. And here you missed the cutting point, yeah. But just surround. Just surround. If he lives, who cares? There's almost a cutting point here, but not quite. Not quite. Actually, yeah, there is a cutting point there, but then you die. So you could even, once he's connected, fine, whatever, connect, I don't care. Do I have any weak groups? Yeah. I'm going to get cut without a base, and I'm going to get surrounded. That's not good. So connect to my base. Okay. And then after he does whatever, you can proceed again. Oh, actually, he has to defend too. So he has to defend. Okay, now you're good. Blah, blah, blah. So now you can go play big move again. Or base here, but big move again. So go reduce. You can actually poke the Aji here. And then destroy this area. Or you can threaten to do it. Or whatever. Just go play a big move. After you're safe, you can play whatever you want. So here, this is this doesn't do anything. This just
No, it doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, this just forces him to connect. And here you're trying to cut. You're trying to keep him unsettled, but you're attacking from the inside instead of the outside. So where's the profit? Where's your points that you're gonna get, or what are you gonna get from this? You're not gonna kill, because killing's really hard. So where's your profit? Are you gonna get some points on the bottom? I mean, that could be profit. That's something. I think the center was bigger, but this is profit at least. It's points. But I think just trying to keep them unsettled and never letting them connect anywhere is just gonna let them live in all of your points, and you're gonna have no profit. Also, stop forcing your opponent to fix stuff. Like, if you're gonna do it, do it. If not, leave it. Because this is
I was thinking. I was just expecting for him not to notice.
That's never a good strategy. Thinking that your opponent is not gonna notice is almost always a bad plan, because you should assume your opponent is a strong, competent player. You should assume if you can see it, they can see it. So what you should be thinking is, I'm going to threaten to do it and gain 2 points while you fix. This is slow, but like locally, I'm going to get points while forcing you to fix. But it's not like you're saying, I'm going to do this and hope he misses this. That's not a good plan. Hoping your opponent misses stuff is a very, very bad plan. We cannot rely on that. Because when we do this and our opponent fixes, we got 0 points and he fixed by threatening points. So this is a negative exchange rate. And we have to assume our opponent's going to fix in the best way possible. We have to assume that. If our opponent makes a mistake, cool. But we can't rely on our opponent making mistakes. We have to play good plans. So he actually did fix. And now, locally, he has a Tiger's Mouth with some good endgame. So, in exchange for that, you got a Dame point. So this is a bad exchange.
Yeah, I actually won because he made a mistake there. After.
Yeah, but we don't want to rely on that. We want to.
Yeah. But it was only after, and I only see it in the end. Saw it in the end.
All right, so you are playing here, so that means you're playing a big move. You're trying to shoulder hit and build your center. So that means you don't care. You don't think any groups don't have a base. Okay. But there is a white group without a base, so I would rather surround.
Yes, it's
actually, I would surround from this side because I need my base for my 3 stones. He runs, and then I go, and then he goes. I'm like, okay, now I'm settled, so now I can surround from this side, and now he's connected. Now I'll go build and do the exact same thing, and it's just free exchanges before you do the big move. That's how you deal with baseless groups. But you have to notice that white doesn't have a base. Okay, he fixes. I guess here, make your base. Make your base. Those 3 stones are baseless. But if you go here,
it was there. I saw the mistake. It was like I was thinking something, and then he just surrounded me.
Yeah, I really think this is probably what's keeping you from single-digit Q. It's not that you're not playing big moves. It's not that you're not attacking. It's that you're not acknowledging if groups have a base or don't have a base. That is the key for attack and defense. Cutting points and bases are the fundamentals for attack and defense. So you missed a cutting point at A and B.
Yeah.
Don't force your opponent to fix cutting points.
When he played N6, I was only thinking about that massive square I have in the center.
Yeah, that's big.
If I play N8, oh god, I have a massive square. And then I played it, and then I saw, oh my god, I have to play N3. And then he played N3, exactly. And I was like, oh god, no, how do I survive?
That's why I'm saying you should put, when you play your games, regardless of everything else, just think, do I need a base anywhere? If you can train yourself to think that every single move, you will improve your defense massively. And then, When you're saying no to that question, then you can move on to the other stuff like big move or whatever. But you can't really do the other stuff with baseless groups, otherwise mistakes will happen and you'll die. Like, things will backfire very quickly. You can't even be thinking about, oh, I have a massive framework, until you answer the question, do I need a base anywhere? That's why the Clossi approach, I always say that's first, because before you think about anything else, do I need a base? Do I need to fix anything? Do I have cutting points? Do I need a base? Do I need to run away? Weak groups first, because without that, everything else can potentially backfire, or he can utilize our weakness to destroy whatever we're doing, or just kill our group and get more than what we were doing. So we have to think weak groups first, or weakness first. So we have to be thinking about that. When you play, just focus on that for a few games. Just focus on, do I need a base? It's okay if you lose while you're learning this new concept. It's okay to lose when you're learning a new tactic. But you have to focus on learning that tactic while you're learning it. Once it becomes second nature, then you can add on the other stuff. And you can add more tactics on. But you have to get this base thing down, because this entire game was neglecting bases on if you had a base or not. You actually have a cutting point right here with a group that doesn't have a base, and your entire group could potentially die. So it's very, very dangerous to have floating groups like that. If your opponent notices it, then you're just going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay, so I guess you're live, and now you have Mii to connect, maybe. So we'll assume that you're alive. So now you're playing a big move again. Okay, big move, big move. Okay, now it cuts. So now you should notice that, oh, I got cut, so I need to go back and connect here. This actually doesn't connect. So actually you're in a lot of trouble. So, because... No, this is good. Yeah, that's good. So maybe start with one. Start with one. He goes here, fix, and there's no cutting point. This doesn't go anywhere. And he has 5 stones with a cutting point. So yeah, you can connect at 1. So you can immediately connect to a base. Because we're looking at connections and bases and escape routes. We're thinking defense. All right, so you play here. Okay, you're looking at that. And then you cut. Okay, this is nice. You connected. Perfect. And then you went and fixed this one. This one actually isn't a cut. This one, he can't really do anything with. It's just a net.
I wasn't seeing the net, actually. But if he plays... Wait. Can you replay?
Yep.
5. If he play the... Yeah. Okay, yeah, I have more liberties. I can... It's a couple rates. Yeah, I win.
This one... The feeling I get from this one... This may be right, this may be wrong. But the feeling I get is that you didn't notice the cutting point or acknowledge the cutting point until after he cut something else. And you're like, oh, now there's a cutting point here.
I was worried about that one since the beginning, like since the second wall on the bottom side. Okay, I was like, yeah, I think he can do something like that. And when he
then why didn't you?
14.
If you were worried about the cut, why didn't you just fix it earlier?
Because I didn't have a chance to do it.
You should always make a chance for defense. Defense is the highest priority. So always defense before anything else. Like, for example, this move. This move isn't that big. Right? You blocked. You just played a big move and blocked. Right? But defend the cut. If he goes here, you can Hane. Who cares? It's just a couple points.
Just 1 point, yeah.
Defense is your highest priority. Because that's the thing that will cause you to make the biggest mistakes. Or the highest percentage point lost. So you know how the AI has percentage points? Missing defensive moves and dying or getting punished severely, that is the highest drops and percentage points that you will play as an amateur player. Now, when you get to pro or whatever, yeah, offense can be bigger than defense, or defending with offense or whatever. Yeah, the AI likes offense before defense, but it's more reliable and safer to prioritize defense over everything else, because defense, messing that up, is the one that'll drop the most percentage points. Messing up like a 10-point move versus dying with a 30-point group, which one will affect the result the most? It's the dead group.
Yeah.
So if you've been worrying about this cut or that base or whatever, then don't worry about anything else and just focus on doing that right then and there. We can learn about the timing for other stuff, and we can learn that, oh, hey, this wasn't actually a cutting point because it was a net. But if you didn't see that net, then that's a potential cutting point. How big is that? Are you going to sacrifice that? Did you count the value of that stone if it dies, and say that's not as big as this move over here? That's the questions you have to ask, is because if you're neglecting the defense, you have to have a very, very good reason, because defense is fundamental, and we can only defy the fundamentals when we have good reading, counting, and judgment. That's the only time is when we can find these exceptions and we know exactly why we're ignoring the basics. But the basics are defense first. So we have to say that we can't say that we can't make time for it. I didn't have time for it when it's because it's the highest priority is defense first. Like all these moves can be ignored. It's just defense first. This was defense. So, and yeah, here if you want to defend, this one's better. I mean, you're almost single digit Q, so we can't just defend directly. If we can defend in a more powerful way, we want to defend in a more powerful way. If we can't, then just fix whatever. But yeah, this one just is a passing move. Okay, good. This is just bad reading. What's better, here or here?
Well, the AIs. I was trying to catch the 2 stones plus that one.
Yeah, this one does it. This is what you play, though.
The AI after that says J2, because if he connects, I will kill those 4 stones too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, just habits. This one clearly kills them. So he's trying to run. Don't let him. Right? It's but here he runs away. You get less.
I only got 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So like this compared to this tells me that probably you're playing too fast. You're not really pushing your game, or your brain is somewhere else. I'm not sure what it is, but this one should be very obviously better than this one. But it's just little things like this. You're just losing points, and this stuff is what you're gonna have to learn at single digit Q. Like you're at 11 Q. I mean, this is fine, but to be single digit Q, we have to not miss these things. Like this one should be easy to see for a single digit Q, and we're trying to be single digit Q, so this is the stuff we got to learn. But more importantly is bases, of course. And yeah, he should never play this one. A 9Q should never play this. This is terrible reading. Okay, yep, and you block, fine, whatever, cool. And we're just in Yosei.
Then it's just in game. Yeah, it's just in game, I think.
There's a better move.
S19 works. Oh, I'll play that later. I'll only sell it later.
Yeah, but if we can defend by using our opponent's weakness, that's the better defense. That is, yeah, this is what you want to learn at single digit Q. So once you master bases, this is what you're going to be looking for. I don't know if actually this is good, because what if he just sacrifices? Who got more? So maybe it's not good, but I'm just, I'm pointing these things out because this is what you look for when you're single digit Q. This is what you have to learn, is to look for these things. Okay, so this is good. Yeah. I don't know what your opponent's doing. This doesn't feel like a single digit Q. Oh, it is Fox, right? This is Fox.
I missed it. I lost that part. I don't know how to play it.
Sorry. Throw in, and then here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's sacrifice first. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Liberty. It's a Liberty to Suji.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Yosei. This is not as big as this.
Biggest. Okay.
And also there's this, Yosei.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things at the end. But before we can work on how to be clever as a single digit Q. So we have at single digit Q, you have to learn how to be clever. But before we can work on that, we have to get these bases down. You have to understand the bases. Do you have any questions about how I'm explaining bases, or why it's so big?
No. You have a YouTube video about it. and I've seen it, but I don't know why, I just neglect them.
Yeah. So I think
I think it's okay, I don't know.
I think if you take anything from this lesson, it should be focus on bases and escape routes and cutting points for defense. Okay? Bases, escape routes, and cutting points. And just prioritize those over everything else. Once you can do that, then you can look at your opponent's cutting points, bases, and playing offense. And then once you can't play offense in Sente anymore, once your offense is no longer Sente, then you can think about big moves. That's the priority. So these big moves, like the exchange rates, is just not nearly as good. Here is better. Your end game could use some work. You also need to learn clever for single digit Q, but bases, cutting points, that's the big stuff. Like here, compare this one to this one. Yeah, it looks like you're only.
I was afraid of the co-fight. I was afraid of the co-fight. The other one.
If you play this one and he plays this
Yes,
one,
it
you take
takes
that one.
and then can take two. Okay, I forgot it.
Yeah, I think you're not seeing the board clearly. Maybe you're rushing in overtime. Maybe.
No, we had like 5 periods of 30 seconds, so there was enough time.
Yeah, but I'm saying, did you play the move in 2 seconds, or did you actually spend 10 seconds looking at it?
At that time I fought that one, but I was afraid of the double of the co. But yes, it clearly has not. There is not a co.
Yeah, but usually your first instinct is like, oh crap, and then you immediately fix. You should always read if you can. You have like 30 seconds. This one probably is you playing too fast. You're probably playing your moves in just a couple seconds, like 5 seconds or less. That's what this one is. Like this one too. Like I don't understand. Like why are we even here? There's probably a big move somewhere. Like this one. I don't know. Maybe not. That one.
The biggest one was probably this one on the left side, or L17, 16.
Yeah, the end game is a little bit not good for this level. But this is also like Fox. Foxes are a little under or overranked or underranked or something like that. So 9Q on Fox is probably like a 11 or 12Q. Okay, push. Right, it's Gote either way. So just push.
Yeah, but I wanted the Sente for the bottom left.
This is not Sente. Because if we push and I block and you connect, I play something else. Okay? So what's the difference from when you play here and I just go play something else? It's the exact same. So it's Gote either way. So if you're gonna play Gote, just play the Gote. Like if white understands that, then white's going to ignore. Yeah, this is definitely Sente. Here.
Yes.
Yeah, so the end game can be improved, but it's not the biggest. It's not the biggest issue. It's not the most important thing. Yeah. So again, to reiterate, bases and cutting points, and then focus on your bases and cutting points more specifically. And then once you can do that, once you're asking yourself that like every single turn, and once you don't miss it, once you're not neglecting it and you don't miss it and it doesn't catch you by surprise, once you have that down, then you think about other things, right? And you have to train yourself to do this. So it doesn't just magically or you notice or anything. You have to actually consciously look for it as often as you remember and look for it every single turn. And that will train your brain to notice it. So this is how you learn new tactics, is when you're playing, you just say, you maybe have a sticky note on your monitor that said, I'm going to look for this. I'm going to look for this tactic or this chance or whatever. And every single turn you look for that. And that trains your eyes and your brain to notice these things when it comes up because you're looking for it. And then once it becomes second nature to notice it, then you learn a new tactic, or you add on another tactic, or you can make sure you aren't messing up something else. Like maybe while you're learning a new tactic, another one suffers because you neglect it or you forget about it or whatever because you're distracted because you're learning something new. So every time you learn a new tactic, you try to just focus on that, and then you check, while I learned this new tactic, did I mess up anything else? And if you did, fix it. And then once you have it all working together, then you focus on learning a new tactic, you add that on, and you just start focusing on that. But that's how you learn new tactics. And my advice for you is, of course, bases, cutting points for defense, then bases and cutting points for offense, and then you can worry about all these moyos and stuff.
Okay.
But that is my advice. Do you have any questions about any of that?
No. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any questions about how to study or play or improve over time or any of that?
Well, I just wanted the exercise to play to.
Oh, did I lose you? Hello?
Hello.
Oh, there you are. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
All right. So what was that? You just have to exercise to what?
Um, I hoped there was any exercise I could do to improve defense, but I guess it's just play some games and practice.
Yeah, it's for middle game, since it doesn't really repeat. There's not really good ways to practice. It's more about just looking for it. Play lots of games, and I would say every time you're learning a new tactic, like for example in this case, let's learn bases. I would say play 10 games and you only look for bases. That's your only job. Even if you lose, you're learning something new. It's okay if you lose. So you're only going to look for bases and make your bases for 10 games. And then the next 10 games, you say, okay, I'm going to keep my bases, but now I'm also going to look for my opponent's bases. And you do that for the next 10 games. All right. And you just keep doing that and just focus on that until you get it down. And then once you get it down, then you just keep doing what you've been focused on doing. And then you just add on maybe the next step. And you focus on that for 10 games. Or maybe if you mess something up, you say, okay, I'm going to back up a step. Like maybe while I'm learning offense, I mess up defense. So I'm going to back up a step, redouble down on my defense for another 5 to 10 games, and then try adding on offense again. But
the problem is that I take like 1 month to play 5 games. Besides your tournament, it's way
yeah.
complicated to play.
Unfortunately, there's no shortcut in Go.
And most of the times it's just like correspondence games, so I usually play when I'm at work. So I check. I may not play in that moment. If I say, okay, I need to read this, okay, let me just get home and look at this in a better way. But sometimes I just play correspondence games, which, okay, my concentration is not at the peak. It's not at the top.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no shortcut for gaining experience because either you gain the experience or you don't. You get back what you put in. But I would say in order to I guess while you're learning something in correspondence, because it's correspondence, because you have such a gap between your games, it's very easy to forget concepts. So maybe have a sticky note or a notepad, and you pull that notepad out whenever you look at your correspondence games. You look at that notepad and say, okay, what are my priorities for this game? And then you just do those priorities in your correspondence games. I know, like with the Clossi approach, I have a flow chart. You could easily pull up that flow chart or whatever flow chart you want, like Hanayo's or Haley's or whoever's strategies that you want to apply, and you just pull it up and you look at the chart, you look at the information, you look at your notes from your lessons or whatever you want to look at, and then you consult the board, and now the notes are fresh in your mind. But that's what you want to do if you have a lot of gap in between your games, because it's very easy to forget your lessons or forget your notes when you haven't played Go or looked at Go for like 5-6 days. And then you come back to you're like, okay. And then you just maybe fall into the same old habits because you forgot your notes. You haven't developed a new habit yet.
Okay, went down.
So notes can help. But yeah, playing more is always going to be like the best answer. Ideally you would want to play 5 to 10 games a week. But
yeah,
if you can only put in 5 games a month, if you can only put in 5 games a month, then that's what you get. I mean, that's fine. It's a game. At the end of the day, it's a game. Life is more important. But you will get what you put in.
I usually have like some correspondence games at my. I'm usually playing some correspondence games at the same time, but when they stop, when I like start 5, 10, and 1 minute when I finish all, I start another 5 or 10. But
Yeah.
it's
Um,
hard.
one thing to keep in mind though is if you're trying to get single digit Q and you want to rank up, don't forget that it usually takes like 15 to 20 games to rank up. So, and that's with a good win percentage. So it could at 5 games a month, it can take about 3 months to move one rank if you're winning a lot. But while
But
you're
I
learning a new
can take like
tactic,
3 months.
yeah, while you're learning a new tactic, you're expected to lose a bit until you get the new tactic down, and then once you get it down, then you try to rank up after you get a few new tactics every rank. So at 5 games a month, it can take several months for you to get all this down. Unfortunately, um, I wish there was a shortcut, but if there's a shortcut, everyone would take
Yeah, yeah,
it.
it's good. There isn't. It's
Yeah.
go. It's supposed
Um,
to be difficult.
yeah, but that's my advice. Notes for correspondence. If that's my advice, so you can like have your information. You can still practice the same stuff. Um, yeah. With that, do you have any other questions about how to study or anything like that?
Nope. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Hopefully you found it helpful, and yeah,
Yes, it was very. Thank you.
hopefully you enjoyed the lesson.
Yeah.
All right, have a good one.